this meeting. And so welcome all for our second meeting in the cycle of postgraduate career opportunities in medicine. Last time we discussed the opportunities that UK might deliver to us, and this time we're gonna focus more on Canada. And our main speaker of today is Haitham. He is the first year medicine student at the Broadsword Medical University, but he already has finished his biological degree in Canada. So I think he might be the best person to actually introduce us to the Canadian environment. So Haitham, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. As Victoria has already introduced, I have finished a bachelor's in science from the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, BC, for about 4 years. And because for unfortunate reasons, I couldn't continue my medical degree in Canada, had to come here. But it was a privilege for me to get to work with Victoria to try and figure out the pathway in which students who are studying here can go back and continue or do their medical career in Canada. So everything we're discussing today is basically aiming towards finding a match in one of the Canadian medical schools. All right, so let's start. All right, first one. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to go directly into who is eligible so that I can grab most of your attention. It can be very, very displeasing to hear this, but I've got some routes that I've included in the presentation later on, so hold on until I discuss the rest. So some basic requirements that you need to have in order to apply to Canadian medical schools is being a Canadian citizen, or you hold a valid Canadian permanent resident card. In Canada, it's unlike America. You do not need a green card to apply to their medical schools, but in Canada, that's one of the requirements. The second one is actually a very interesting one. You are attending or have graduated from a school listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools. So your university should make sense to Canada, and the way you're learning currently, and the system and everything that's going on in your medical school should make sense to Canada for you to be able to be eligible. And I've got good news about this coming soon, just later. You have written the required exams, and we're gonna go into specifics of those later. You have reference letters and taken some electives. I will discuss those in a bit. I've kept a note right there for people who, felt sad to hear that people should be Canadian residents, that you can apply to immigration to Canada, and I've included some information on this soon. Okay, so the good news is that our beautiful university is actually accepted by the Canadian systems. And I've done my research on this website. It's called the World Directory of Medical Schools. And I've searched our university name, and then it popped up to say that in Canada, what we're doing right now is valid to them. So one advice to you all is I want each and every one of you, if you're trying to portray, or if you're trying to go to Canada, work hard because your university is accepted. So if you got some good grades and a personality that can show you can compete for one of those seats in the future. So I think it's very good that our university is accepted for them. Okay. All right. So just because, most of us are not Canadians, I'm going to discuss some ways in which PR can be acquired. And I'm going to share my personal story as a person who did not have a PR 6 years ago and was able to have it. So it starts with my family. We've lived in the United Arab Emirates for about 18 years of our lives. My dad and mother could not continue their careers in UAE. So they had to find a space in Canada for them to live in. So my dad decided to immigrate. So the point of this is to give you an idea of how you can pursue a PR. The first one is maybe you and your family would love to apply to immigrate to Canada, just like my family did. And what my father did to get PR or immigrate to Canada is he went about choosing the business investment route. And it's quite a hassle because you need a lot of money for this one. He paid about $120,000 to get accepted into this program. So why Canada appreciates this business investment route is because you as an immigrant, you're telling Canada that I am immigrating to your lands to provide a space for people to work under my business name. So that's why Canada would appreciate it if you have all the requirements. It's a lot of money, but maybe if your family decides to do this, that's the route. After my father got accepted with his idea, he offered us to get sponsored. So he sponsored his own family. We waited for about 3 to 4 years to get accepted. After that, we landed in Canada. Then we lived there for about 6 years. And then just 3 to 4 years we have got acceptance of getting the Canadian citizenship. And I've actually got an email just 2 days ago saying that, you're accepted as a Canadian citizenship, as a Canadian citizen. So that's just a first route. It cannot be valid. Sorry. Just give me a second. That's my prayer time. Go back to it. All right. Everybody's laughing at me right now, but it's okay. All right. All right. So the second route is because it's not valid for you to apply as a family, right? So if you're an individual, how can you do it? You can apply through the route of being a skilled immigrant. And that also requires a lot of money, but it's possible. The amount of money needed is about $12,000 to $24,000. And if you need more information about this route, you can go to Canada.ca on the Immigration Services of Canada. So this option is for you to acquire PR for the people who need to have a PR because you need the PR in order to apply to medical schools in Canada. All right, so that's for the part. So moving on, we're going to discuss the requirements that are needed for Canadian medical schools. Now, there are 2 exams that you need, and it's like a very, very high priority, and you cannot skip those things. I tried searching for ways in which you can skip those exams, but there's absolutely no chance. So the first exam is the NAC examination. It's mandatory. And the second one is the MCCQE Part 1. And I'm going to dive now into the specifics of those and what happens during those exams, just to give you an idea of how those exams happen. Yeah, all right. So the first one is the MCCQE. And it's called Part 1 because there's a Part 2 to it. It's not required to apply to Karms, and I'll tell you what Karms is later. So MCCQE Part 1 is the first exam required. It's called the Medical Council of Canada Qualifying Examination, and it's Part 1. It is scored, so they will actually score you out of a number. It's not a pass or fail, unlike the American systems, which just require pass or fail. It is a written exam, so there are 2 parts in it. The first part is all multiple choice, about 4 hours in the morning on the day of the exam. There's 10 multiple choice questions. That's the first part of the exam. And the second part is a clinical decision-making part. In this case, it's more hands-on. They score you on how you would counsel a patient. So they will offer you 38 cases. It's 3.5 hours in this exam, and there's for each case that you look at, there's multiple questions that they can ask you. It's similar to your real life situation. So if you're in a clinic, patients would come on, they will tell you their problems, you will give them the diagnosis, prescription. Same thing here, they will just test if you have the knowledge to do this. And it is similar to the USMLE Step 3 exam. So the topics that they cover in this exam are wide. It's different aspects of medicine, such as pediatrics or whatever. But because in Canada, that's the difference here. Canada is a country that focuses on the relationship between the patient and the doctor. So they really focus on ethics. And then the scoring part, if if you guys are interested. It's out of 400 points, and the passing score is 226. So that's the MCCQE. The second one is the NAC. It's a National Assessment Collaboration Exam. It's also scored. There's no pass or fail. You actually get a number. Scores between 200 to 500, and passing is 390. So here, this exam is more hands-on. It's like the part 2 of MCCQE. But here you've got 12 stations that you go through one by one. In each station, there is a patient and an examiner. So the examiner is in the room looking and scoring you according to your performance on the patient. So you would go into this room, the first one, let's say, and this examiner will tell you the task that you need to do. And then this examiner will watch you do this task for about 11 minutes. 8 minutes is basically the specific time required for you to complete the task. And then the 3 minutes remaining is for them to ask you post-encounter questions. And this is the NAC. It's about 12 stations and different tasks at different stations, and it's hands-on. Okay, that's the second exam. Now, going on to the third requirement, which is the IELTS. The IELTS exam is required by most universities around the world if you're an IMG. Here in Canada, the passing marks for each section is about 7. So you need to get a 7 in the reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And you take it 2 years from the date taken before you apply. So it's quite tough to get 7s on IELTS, but it's doable. But the beautiful thing about Canada is that it's not like, okay, if you don't have the IELTS, you're done. No, there's a chance that you can exempt from doing the IELTS, and that's by having your primary language of medical education in English, which is our case in this university. And I advise all of you, if you want to pursue a career in Canada, to do your patient care in English as well. So that would help you exempt from IELTS. And if you show them those proofs of, okay, I studied in English and I practiced my patient care in English, they'll be like, okay, you don't need the IELTS. So that's a route to get exempt from IELTS. All right, next. So the third one is, that's actually the tough part about the Canadian route. It's like there's a lot of requirements along the way. So first is the 2 exams, the IELTS, and then going to a province that you're interested in, you need to actually discuss or look for the requirements of that province. So in Canada, there's a lot of provinces. So I've included here one of them, British Columbia, the one I'm interested in. So I'll be doing the MCCQE, the NAC, and then I'll do my IELTS or get exempt from it. And if I want to apply to British Columbia, I would need to do the CAP exam, which is UBC Clinical Assessment Program. British Columbia, together with Quebec and Alberta, are the other 2 provinces that need additional requirements. And for the other provinces, you need to dive into what they need on the Karms website, and I'll tell you what Karms is in a bit. So that's just an additional requirement for BC. And the fourth requirement is the most important, not one of the most important, is reference letters, research and extracurriculars. So reference letters, let's discuss that first. To get reference letters, you need those letters from Canadian physicians. And how are we supposed to get those reference letters if we don't know any Canadian physician? And that's when the Canadian experience comes in. So if you have some space in the summer, which most of us do, I advise you, if you want to pursue a career in Canada, to go and do an observership or an elective in Canada. And specifically in the place or the city that you want to apply in, and in the hospital that you want to work in. Why? Is because as soon as you work there, you would get to know the doctors, the nurses, the people, the life, the city. So you'll be more experienced compared to all others that are applying to that place. So when you ask for reference letters from those Canadian physicians within that hospital, they'll be able to provide. And these reference letters are important for the Karms application that you have later. Okay, and that's the reference letter part. So you need 3 of them from Canadian physicians. It's not accepted. Well, it is accepted, but it's better from the Canadian physicians. Okay, and then the last thing is extracellulars. And that's where you need to make yourself appear like a diamond, make yourself shine. So what you do is you got a lot of things to work on apart from your studies, your exams, your IELTS, your reference letters, observerships. You need to do stuff like research, volunteering, leadership roles, trying to make a difference in the community. In this part, I would take the chance to, advise all of you to focus on your studies and make them shine. Like try to get 4s and 5s here in this university. Also attaining good scores in the tests that I talked about earlier, but making sure that you're a well-rounded student is also important. Doing stuff like, initiating an organization that changes something in your community, making a business, I don't know, working on roles like here, our coordinator, Victoria, is like working on this project for helping people know how they would take routes to different countries. These are important things that would help push you to be a better applicant, okay? So make sure you do this. All right, next. Apart from everything else, so we've gone through the tests, the IELTS. What else? We got additional requirements for provinces, reference letters, research, and extracurriculars. And then the final thing is actually you'd have to apply or do examinations to get your license after you've done your residency. So upon completion of residency training, family physicians must pass the College of Family Physicians of Canada certification examination. Okay, those are family physicians, and specialists, they have to pass the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada certification examination specific to their specialty. So I've been to so many clinics in Canada, and I've seen like a lot of physicians actually have those certificates on their walls, and I've never known what those are. Apparently, all of them should go through this exam, and they should get those stamps from those colleges of BC specifically talking here. So that's the 5th requirement. That's just the steps you have to go through. All right. So what are the most important aspects of all those requirements? I've always been tricked by so many people saying, GPAs and marks are not important. Extracellulars are as important as those. No, I disagree. After I've had this experience to fail to get into medical schools in Canada, the first thing they look at is your effing GPA or marks. So if you're doing those exams, make sure that your scores are high. Same with your current studies. You're in first year, I hope. I don't know if they're all in first year. If you are in first year or second year or third year, make sure you work hard, because the first thing those committees look at is your scores. And then after they see those scores, they're like, okay, check mark. Now we look at the second thing, and the third thing comes with, those exams, those research experiences that you have, your reference letters, your extracurriculars, those are secondary. So make sure those are good, the exams and the studies that you're going through right now. All right, what else doing this? Yes, so here I've included a point. Let's say you have related to extracurriculars is you apply to an observership in Canada, in a hospital that you want. How would I be able to do this? Doing this in Canada is very hard. And there isn't an organization that would help you to apply to this easily, because as an IMG in Canada, you're basically treated like somebody who is, I don't want to say it like in a negative way, but CMGs are treated better than us there. So if you're an IMG and you tell them, okay, I want to practice this observership in your hospital, speaking professionally, they wouldn't care much. So what I would advise you to do, if you're an observership and you want to do something this summer in Canada, is go to a hospital that you're interested in, get all the emails of all the physicians in those hospitals and start emailing them now. If you send about 500, you may get 2 or 3 replies, and those are your chances. So that's what some of my friends are doing right now, and it's very hard to get a position to do an observership in Canada. And the only way to go about it is unprofessionally. Just actually make a template, and shoot all of those physicians that you can acquire an email. And then if you get a reply, then that's good. All right. We're going to watch just a short video about the match and what it actually means. Just give me a second.
Completing medical school is a major milestone on the journey to your medical career. The next one is completing your residency training. To do that, you need to take part in the match, facilitated by the Canadian Resident Matching Service, an independent nonprofit created by medical students and faculties to ensure fairness and objectivity in the match process. Make sure you meet the eligibility criteria set by the provinces you want to train in. Then enter your background information into Karms online. Select the programs that interest you and submit your application documents before the deadline. Programs will reach out directly to applicants they want to interview. After your interviews, it's decision time. Submit your rank order list, a list of the programs you want to train at in order of preference, while programs do the same with the applicants they want to train. The rank list is confidential, so neither applicants nor programs know who ranked them. Rank order lists, along with the program's available positions, are entered into our match algorithm, which is designed to provide the best possible match outcome based on the applicant's choice. On match day, you see your match results through Karms Online. As a matched applicant, you're ready to take the next step on your path to practicing medicine in Canada. Learn how Karms can help you.
All right, hope that was useful. Okay. Okay, so just what is Karms? Think about Karms as a bridge between you and those medical schools in Canada. And the application that you submit is through the Karms online system. What is it? Is a nonprofit organization that was was founded by medical students and physicians. And they have succeeded in matching 75,000 of us, the IMGs, into Canadian schools. Okay, so what is a match? So a match is basically you applying to a job, but it's a bit different. So you have an application submission, they review your application, then you get interviewed. But the difference here is this rank order list that is run through a math-based algorithm, okay, and gives you a result directly. So this rank order list is the following. So as a student applying to those universities, you would go ahead and choose the first choice, let's say University of Ottawa here, pediatrics and Ottawa, right? So you would give your choices of interest and where and what university, and this is your ROL. Now you're the first party. Now the party on the other side, the programs that you're applying to, also submit an ROL into the Karms system. And then this algorithm just runs to match those programs with those students. And I'll show you a video about this in a bit so that you can understand, because it's really important for you to know how those things run so that you're not just like ignorant about it, okay? So another video, just so quick, that's the match algorithm. I'm gonna show you. It's a bit long, but it's important.
Works. Karms uses a globally recognized algorithm to match medical students and residents to postgraduate training positions in Canada. The algorithm's job is to create the best possible combination of matches given the choices of applicants and programs. To do this, it needs three things. 1, the number of available positions for each program in the match. 2, a list of preferred applicants from each program. And 3, a list of preferred programs from each applicant. These lists are called rank order lists. The algorithm optimizes applicant and program outcomes based on their respective rank order lists. It starts by attempting to match the applicant into their highest ranked program and moves down the list until a match is found. There are no hacks or cheat codes. All participants need to do is rank what they want in order of their true preferences. And it's safe to do so because rank order lists are confidential. Our biggest match includes more than 5,000 applicants and 650 plus programs. But let's simplify by looking at a scenario with 4 applicants applying to 3 programs. Applicant Singh ranked plastic surgery at general first. The program also ranked Singh first, so it's an immediate match, and the program has filled its 1 position. Applicant Garcia's first ranked program is dermatology at City. She tentatively matches there. Applicant Gagnon ranked 3 programs. The algorithm starts with Gagnon's first choice, plastic surgery at general, but it's already been filled by a higher ranked applicant, Singh. So it moves to the second rank, family medicine at City, where Gagnon has been ranked second by the program. Since there are 2 positions and Gagnon is one of the 2 highest ranked available applicants, it's a match. Applicant Lee's first rank is dermatology at City, where there is 1 position. Lee is ranked second by the program, but their top-ranked applicant, Singh, already matched to a preferred program, making way for Lee to match here. As the program is now full, the algorithm removes Garcia's tentative match, revisits her rank order list, and moves on to her next rank, family medicine at City, resulting in a match to the last available position there. In this example, all applicants have been matched to a program. However, it is possible for an applicant to go unmatched. There are 3 reasons this could happen. 1, they weren't ranked by a program they ranked. 2, they didn't rank a program who ranked them. 3, the program was filled by higher ranked applicants. To learn more about the algorithm and best practices that can help optimize your match experience, visit karms.ca/algorithm.
All right, that's the algorithm. Took me some time to understand, but that's how they run it. Okay. All right, so this is just quick. You need to be very clear about the parties who put the policy and the process. The people who put the policies are the 17 Canadian faculties of medicine, the provincial Ministry of Health, the Association of Faculties of Medicine of Canada. So these are the parties that put the positions available, the rules, the requirements, and then they pass it on to the bridge, which is Karms. And then you apply to Karms, and that's when matches happen. So that's how the process all goes about. Okay, so why is it hard to match in Canada? So the number of seats for IMGs in Canada is very low compared to the US. Imagine there's like 90% of the seats that are offered only for the Canadian people. And then you've got only 10% given to the IMGs. And those IMGs are not the general public, but they're IMGs who have Canadian citizenship or a PR. And if you're not among those people, you'd need to consider applying for a PR. So that's why it's really, really competitive. Okay, so this is just telling us how the competitiveness happens. So in different provinces, they either have parallel pathways or competitive. So if, let's say in Nova Scotia, it says parallel. Parallel means that IMGs and CMGs do not compete for seats. And when it says competitive, it means that IMGs and CMGs compete for the same seats. So that's just something that you should be aware of when you get into the Karms system. Okay, so just a story of an IMG that is just like us, studying outside of Canada and is interested to go back and study in Canada. So this person is a friend of mine. He studied in the medical school of Aleppo, okay, in Syria. He was interested in specializing in 3 fields: neurology, internal medicine, and family medicine. He got a number of interviews, actually, passing all of those requirements I've said before. And the way they interviewed him was really interesting. The interview was only focused on getting to know him, plus why he is interested to be in the city and if he knows things about the city. So this comes back to us saying, okay, so I should be practicing my observerships in the summer in the place that I want to apply into, because that really helps you in my interview later on, because they'll be asking you questions about the city and why you want to move here and what connections do you have to the city and what do you know about it. Because Once you get in, you sign a return of service contract that you're going to be staying in this place for about like 4 years, just like my friend. So he got into internal medicine, and then he signed a contract for about 4 years, and he has to serve in this place for 4 years. So he was fortunate to get a place in a place that he likes because his family lives there. He did all his observerships in the summer in that place. His connections, his life, his memories, he created within a good amount of time things that he can relate to this place. So he got into it, and you know, now he's a senior medical resident in charge of junior medical residents in the hospital of Ottawa. Okay. All right, so let's go into the earnings of different specs of medicine. So in emergency, the yearly rate is like 281,000 per year, and in Canada, the ophthalmologists, well, Victoria's interested in this, they get paid about 769,000 per year, and that's like 2 million zlots, about, you know, and it's just a lot. Medical people earn a lot in Canada, and their life is really good. I mean, if you get a chance to get into the medical health system in Canada, good on you. There are some benefits. It's crazy how you can acquire career development in Canada. It's one of the huge, most, like, I can't even describe it. It's very, very, very beautiful how they do it over there. The Canadian health system is one of the best in the world. And there's a couple of organizations that can help you as a physician to expand your reach in your field. And I'm just a fan of it. Some insurance benefits is like the dental and healthcare plans. Those things I've tried personally. I've worked in Canada after I graduated from Bachelor's of Science for about a year at Vancouver Coastal Health. I worked with physicians, teaching them how to do digital reports for their patients. And the amount of benefits that I got as a person just giving tutorials to physicians was a lot. And if you were a physician yourself, I mean, the benefits will even be way higher. Healthcare system in Canada is great. It's great. It's great. All right. I can't stress it, but it's amazing. Some questions. I'm honestly done. I don't know if I bored you guys, but it would be honestly nice to hear.
In the chat.
Yep.
So the first one is at what point of medical school, during or after, do Canadian students pass those exams? And was it the exams at the very beginning, I guess, like the MCCQ?
Oh, so those exams, you probably want to do them and study for them in your last year, because once you have them, the year after that, you'd want to apply into getting a match.
So all of the exams that you mentioned before are conducted after people finish their med school.
Yes, because you need to apply after for a specialty, and you can't go apply to a match unless you're done with your med school.
There's another question. What is more important? I don't understand the question, to be honest.
GPU.
I don't know. You can take a look in the chat box. Vitali, maybe Vitali can retype it for us. Okay, there's another question. How does the road to working in Canada look like if you finish residency in a different country, let's say England or USA?
Oh man, I think it's you need to do those exams. Like I understand. I don't think they will qualify. Like Canada treats every other med school outside its borders like absolute nothing. So they would need you to go and do those exams again, and I think you'd need to do residency. They don't validate something outside their circle. Yeah.
So you will need to redo the residency even though you finished it outside of Canada.
Yep. I think that's the case. I don't think you can have a way around it.
Okay. What should I do if I want to pass the final exam in Poland and do the fellowship in Canada? Is it possible? or a better way is to do fellowship in Poland and apply to residency in Canada. Can I apply to residency in Canada with a diploma from Poland, or should I pass additional exams in Canada?
So you like those I repeat again, the Canadian system is very strict, and even if you finished your residency outside, like they do not validate anything outside their country. Like you'd have to do their residency and then apply for the exams after that so that you can get that license that you're able to work in Canada. Because it's like I don't know how they do it, but they don't validate anything outside. I mean, imagine how hard it will be for us IMGs, right? Canadian people who are studying within Canada need a lot of requirements to get into their medical schools. And imagine you're studying outside and then trying to get in. You know, it's hard. I don't think that's possible.
Okay, someone asked, what are the competition ratios for different specializations in Canada?
Ooh, I have no idea, but I can search up this for you and I can reply to you, Michael. But it's quite competitive. But no idea for this.
It can get published on the Facebook event, maybe.
Yes,
So,
I
so
will.
people would have access to that. Okay. GPA from Broadsword Medical University versus scores from scores of the Canadian exams. That
Yeah.
was the
So
Vataly asking, maybe.
so the GPA from our university is important, just in case, because I know sometimes, like for me as a student that I've gone through a bachelor's in science, I was like, okay, I will just apply to MCAT and forget about my GPA, and they would actually look at my MCAT and say, okay, it's a good, but your GPA is bad. Why? So in all cases, you need to be perfect. Like make sure your GPA is good. That's the first step right now, because now we're in first year, Magdalena. And then scores of the Canadian exams, that's another priority. I think your GPA and your scores of Canadian exam are on the same level. I think you have to work hard on both. Yes,
Can
you can take those exams, but I'm not sure how many times. I'm not sure. That's actually a good question.
Is there any way to acquire PR without spending thousands of dollars?
Nope. That's actually, man, I want to swear, but yeah, like my dad paid about $120,000 just to let them say, okay, come do your business. And then skilled workers have to pay about 12,000 to 24,000. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. I know.
Demanding.
Demanding. I'm
You're very-
sorry. It feels bad, but that's how it is.
Are there any more questions, maybe?
Off topic, but is Canada offering any work internships for medical students from
The
the
question will be a little bit off topic, but is Canada offering any work/internships for medical students from EU?
Okay, so nobody is gonna tell you yes, okay? But I'm telling you yes. So how you do it is don't go about it the professional route. So maybe go, let's say, for a visit, okay, to Canada for about 2 months or something. You get a visa to Canada and you go. If you have connections in Canada, it's just me, I can help you out. You can actually start, like I mentioned it, start emailing those doctors within a hospital that you're interested in, okay? And then you pile up a lot of emails until you get a reply. Once you get a reply, that's when you have the chance to work there. But that's the only route. I mean, if you want to be somebody from the EU, it's hard. Like for me, I'm a Canadian resident, and it's hard for me to get a chance to practice in a hospital unless I have connections. Just wanted to mention because I know who did it this way. You can practice in Canada with a US residency. I believe you still need to pass. Yes, you need to pass those exams. You need to. Yes, you can. US and Canada are very close to each other, and they love each other because they're quite similar with their health systems. So if you go into the US and you want to move to Canada, it's easier than being in EU and moving to Canada. Yeah, but you still need to pass the exam.
I just wanted to mention, because I know a few people who did this way. You can practice in Canada with USA residency, but I believe you still need to pass certain exams.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I believe.
And trust me, guys, like I've lived in Canada for 6 years. Generally, life there is amazing, especially, I mean, Vancouver. I lived there for 6 years, all of it. It's one of the best places to live in. Just saying, just if you're wondering about life there. And for young people like us, yes, it's the best nightlife and stuff like that.
But
Awesome.
it's cold, I guess, no?
It's Vancouver's not cold.
It's not like Wrocław right now.
So Wrocław is -11. The most degree is like 9, -9. That's it in Vancouver.
Hey.
It's good. It's bearable.
That's it, lucky. Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Toronto it reaches like -40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. In others, it's bad.
Someone directly to me sent, I think by accident, where to apply at first.
What do you mean? What does he mean? Oh, in general?
I think so.
Okay, so the process goes like this. You need to first get your NAC, MCCQE exams done, and that's close to 5th or 6th year, okay? Then you need to figure out the IELTS stuff. If you're good with IELTS, then that's good. In our case, we may not need IELTS because we practiced in English and we did our education in English. Now, you then need to figure out the exams of the provinces. Like British Columbia needs CAP, so you need to do the CAP. And after you've done all of that and passed them, then you apply to Karms and build your ROL. And then you give them your documents. I have the PR, I have the exams, I have everything you need. Then they start getting you into that math algorithm, and then they match you if you're successful. That's it.
So I'll pass these exams being in Canada.
Exactly.
Okay.
About
the internship I asked before, is there any organization that helped get there? And understood that I need to email doctors for permission, right? By the way, I don't have any connections there, so.
Yeah, I do not have any knowledge about organizations that help you get an internship there. How people do it in Canada, at least my friends, and it's a lot of them, they are well connected within the society, okay? And they just reach out to physicians they know. And if they're not connected, they will just email doctors through the hospital websites. And that's how people do it, because doctors most of the time are busy and they're not into wasting time. You'd have to run after them. That's how we do it.
If you have done specialization in EU, for example, Germany, can you move to work in Canada without redoing the specialization training?
Yes, but probably you need some exams. At the specialization level, I'm not sure, but you need exams to Canada to get your
Like
license.
specialization, you will need to redo it anyways, or not?
I think that's the case because my mother, she's a nurse, and she did her specialty in nursing outside Canada in the UAE, and she's now until now trying to get her specialization by doing exams there. She can't. Yeah, you have
So,
to pass the exams. Yeah,
so either you go from the very beginning or you don't go.
exactly.
I have just joined the meeting.
Absolutely. But what I know, when you're at the specialization level, you just need exams in IELTS. That's what I think. But when you're like us, you have to go through the things I mentioned. Because my mother is at that stage.
Yeah.
Just have to.
So are there any more questions?
Oh. Somebody email. She wants us to send it to her email.
If you want, you can share the slides anywhere. I don't know. If you're comfortable, we can share them on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I don't mind. Anybody is welcome.
We might drop the presentation on Facebook like within one day, I could say.
Just an advice, guys. Like, it's important to keep your grades up to date, like 4 or 5 max on this university, then your grades in the tests, plus your extracurriculars. Like, go out and do something, change something in the community. Canada loves extracurriculars, and everywhere on their websites. They want you to be an individual that causes change in the community. They really care about this point, apart from your exam grades, of course. So yeah. Is the exam only done in Canada, or there are other places or country specific? No, it's done in Canada. These exams are done in Canada. You'd have to go travel to Canada and do them.
And my friend, she just texted me, what kind of things except volunteering you can do outside of the university, so it could, you know, boost your application later on.
Man, like I've done 4 years worth of work. I can tell you, be creative. They love you to be well-rounded. For example, I don't know, I was a president of a cultural club. I mentored teenagers for about 4 years. I worked with kids ages of 6 to 9. I worked with seniors. I went to clean beaches. I went on a trip to, rescuing Syrian refugees off the beach. I went to Ecuador, shadowed doctors in surgeries of nose, heart. I went, fuck, what did I do? Like I did so many things. Uh, phew. So like just go out and do stuff, you know, like be creative, because the more you impress them, the more you're like, wow, this guy is like
So,
experienced.
but also like maybe, I don't know, student associations are
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that kind of, I don't know, scientific articles. I know that a lot of people in our universities are actually involved in the scientific work. So maybe that also might be a
Yes.
boost.
Yes. And like I don't know, publish a paper, write a book, something that, you know, changes changing
And
something.
one thing, do you need to, I don't know, write something like personal statement? Because like most probably in the US, you know, you need to write a personal statement out yourself and your personal history, and you know.
Yes, part of the Karms application, which is the bridge that I talked about, needs you to write a personal statement. And part of this personal statement support are the 3 references from the Canadian professionals.
I see.
Yeah.
Nice. There are 2 more questions. Is there any hospital that you recommend, for example, for a summer internship? Are they care about the extra curriculars also? Yeah. So about the extra activities you already talked. Do you have any hospital recommendations?
Yes. I don't know if you're interested in coming to Vancouver, which is one of the best cities, I think. Richmond Hospital, Vancouver Hospital, Surrey Memorial, like all of those. I don't know if you can reach out to me. I don't know how, but I can give you all the hospitals I can recommend. They're really good. If you do
Is it
specialization.
possible to get accepted with grades like 3 and 4?
Okay, so that's my case in Canada. So I got a GPA of 75, which is not good at all. I was focused on extracurriculars. There are people who got 89, 80, 89 and 90 averages. So when they look at you, they'd be like, okay, why would I take him and not take the 90 guy, right? So I would advise you to step up your game if you're at 3 or 4. Try to be 4 and 5 all the time. No chance, no excuses, because they will really point it out, be like, why? They will really ask you. What else?
So if you do the specialization in Poland, then you have to repeat it in the Canada, most probably.
Most probably, yeah. They don't. In some cases, I don't know. In some cases, like sometimes, like my mom, she did a presentation, a specialization in nursing, and they told her you need those exams in IELTS, right? But I'm not sure about Poland. I'm not sure about Poland, but probably yes, because it's an EU country.
Thank you for the great presentation, Haitham. You mentioned contacting you. Should we need any help organizing an internship? Could you maybe share your email?
Yes, sure, Boris. I'll give you my email and I'll help you with internship. I have some connections there if you want to come.
I think your email will be spammed after the statement. I can see. Okay.
Oh,
Moving
man.
on to the next question. Is it more difficult to move to the US or
Yeah.
Canada? Where would you recommend to move?
I would recommend you to go to the US Why? Is because in the US, you don't need a green card. Number one, wait, calm down. So life and practicing medicine, Canada, I love it. Okay, it's amazing. But difficulty wise, US is easier. Why? Because you don't need a green card to apply to their medical schools. And if you get accepted into the US, then it's easy for you to go to Canada, right? So that's this difference. In Canada, you need a PR. In the US, you don't need a green card.
Yeah. Is it possible to have summer clinical practice in Canada studying in Poland, not by IMFSA?
Yes, it's possible.
If you're gonna organize it, then everything's possible, you know? And there's another question from my friend, and she's asking, for example, if you are going for the summer internships like outside of Poland, for example, in Germany, it doesn't count.
Hmm.
Is the board examination board like looking at it in
Yes,
Canada?
I've mentioned that uh, to one thing they look at is your IELTS. So if you have patient care with people who don't speak English or an environment that doesn't speak English, they'll be like, okay, where's your proof that you practiced patient care in English? And they will actually make you do the IELTS.
Yeah, but like still, that doesn't it show that you can actually do something more if you can speak more than like English and Polish, for example? Because like in this case, if you go like for example, I don't know, to Germany, you need
Yeah,
to speak German as well. And I think it might be a boost as well that you, I don't know, are open-minded person.
I believe that so. But when it comes to the IELTS part, they will be like,
Yeah,
yeah.
IELTS is IELTS.
I mean, if you go to different countries, they'll be like, okay, you've visited different countries. Well,
Congrats. Yeah, well, like to summarize it, like what are your pro tips for our friends from our university?
man, fucking study hard. Don't waste time. Get your ass doing some cool shit. Like go out, help people in very professional ways, and let your experience during medical school portray personal growth first and foremost, and then like on a personal level, I'm saying, and then on a professional level, because that's what they really care about. You need to be as empathetic as possible, because in the future, if you want to go to Canada, they look at how emotionally intelligent you are and how much care you provide to the patients. I mean, in the exam itself, they'll be like, okay, scoring you on how you treated the patient, most of it, the NAC. It's just scoring you on
Soft skills are very important in this case.
yes, man. Yes, that's my advice. Do you have any advice?
Aye. Oh, what? If you work in science and publish articles, is it beneficial for applying for fellowship?
Yes, it's very good. And anything is good. Anything is good.
Like anything that shows that you can actually do
Yes.
things is good, I would say.
You have to stand out because there are so many motherfuckers out there competing against you. So,
Do you recommend any university in Canada?
oh, yes. Okay. Medical School, University of British Columbia, the one I studied in. It's the third ranked university in Canada. Or you can go to Toronto, but it's really hard to get in. Uh, Westerloo, Ontario, McMaster is good. Queens, Carleton, there's a lot of research and published papers. Connections. How can we get involved in research and published papers? You need connections first and foremost.
The
Um,
issue is like depending on which university you are in, because like if you're in Wrocław Medical University, I might help you at some point because I'm trying like to engage our ED friends to do stuff like I don't know. For example, this whole cycle is basically the will to do anything. But like the issue is to get into publishing anything, most probably you need to get into student association. I don't know, ophthalmology, cardiology, anything. I graduated of, I
wow.
mean, I know it only from the perspective of the students right now. So, but like I would say that, ah, I don't know, postgraduate, like publications, it's not my field right now.
Oof, I don't know. Connections. I think connections, man. Like with connections, you can get anything you want. Are you wearing any pants? Man, like, look.
This meeting is recorded. Excuse me. Let's
Yeah,
keep it
that's not the
professional,
topic.
maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later.
Can you make a summary about what you said? I mean, the
Yes.
presentation is a summary, isn't it?
It's a quick summary. I mean, it's all summarized in the first part of the presentation.
Oh, well. No, so basically working, 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 and working.
Working and working, man. Working and working. Working and working.
Okay.
Enjoy your studies, guys. Enjoy your studies. Okay, do you know something
Something
about
of Quebec.
of
Is
Quebec
enough.
is
I mean,
Quebec is a different world. It's a different world within Canada. It has its own rules. Quebec is a French-based province within BC. It has its own exams and its own man. Because of the French language, everything is different in Quebec. But generally, the same things I mentioned is required there with additional requirements for the province, plus the French language. I don't know if IELTS is required for Quebec, but yeah.
so basically, depending on the province, you need to go
Yes,
through the entry requirement.
exactly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the very nice personal statement and everything.
You have to be very good with everything. But listen, look, like I know it sounds like, oh, you have to be perfect. No, you have to just be you. And to be you is hard. So to figure out you, go out and do some cool stuff. And then you'll reach to the point where you're satisfied with yourself and you will know that they'll accept you. You will know it. It's not scary. Okay,
But
that's it.
like, I mean, I think we as young people, we are having a lot of opportunities
Exactly.
that the university is also there to boost our work, I would say.
Exactly. Somebody said, oh, Alicia wants to add me on social media for sure, no problem.
Share your Instagram.
Did I do it now? What the heck?
No idea if you feel like it, like you might.
Okay, whatever. Everybody, let's go. All right, guys, this is my Instagram. Shoot me a message if you have any question.
Where you typed it though.
Oh, I typed it only to Alicia. Wait. Okay.
That's fun.
There.
That's
If you have any questions, shoot me a message.
okay. So, are there any more questions? I think we're done. So I'm gonna